Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh no, we're not there yet.
Free my mind
Open my heart
with the whispers of truth to live a conscious life.
to live a conscious life on the growing edge. Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. From beautiful and wonderful, amazing Gypsy Springs Ranch here in Joshua Tree, California. Yep, we made it all the way west. We came in, we crossed the border. We don't tell anybody because I don't think we were supposed to at this time of pandemic, but we're kind of California people. And of course, we knew that our beautiful friend Rhonda has this amazing 10-acre property where there's tons of physical distancing and there's quail, just amazing. Did you just hear that? There's Joshua Tree right behind me. It's the perfect time of year to be here. And my name is Michael Benjamin. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Rhonda. Good morning, Allie. We're coming to you live from sunny Southern California. We, as you know, are on the growing edge out here on the trail, living in shanty home on the road, having a good time. We are sun seekers at the moment, looking for all of the perfect temperatures for us to enjoy morning temps. And this week it happened to be Joshua Tree, happened to be the Palm Desert, happened to be the Southern California area as we're making our way north for Christmas time to be with the kids at a condo that we rented. And so we are just having a good time and healing, and Allie's still feeling a bit sensitive with the back, so she tapped me again, knowing that that we do our work together every day, in and out. We spend a lot of time in meditation and prayer and journaling and writing, and so the notes that we share are much the same these days. And so as we're getting ready to get started with the message this morning, which is going to tie in and download the title I'm following, the mantra I'm using is big engagement. And so when Allie tapped me, she said, I know that you've got a message inside of you that wants to come out about big engagement. And I said, well, I think you're right. And so I'll just get quiet. But to start, I just want to evoke the moment. If it feels right for you to join me in a moment of prayer, and I invite you to posture in. This is the engagement right now. This is the big engagement where you check your posture and say, I'm going to lean in and evoke my awareness of the divine and infinite power that is everywhere. And as I do, I just give myself permission to breathe and to be right here in this moment. Even stay in your mind and in your heart with me. I give myself permission to be right here in this moment, in the now moment. Listen to the sound of quail. Listen to the sound of life. So in my mind and in my heart, I close the doorway of the past. 5 minutes ago, an hour ago, last week, last year, a lifetime ago. It's all in the past. So for now, I close my mind, the doorway. I close the doorway of the past, right here and now. And the doorway of tomorrow and next month and next year and all of that's yet to be. In your mind and in your heart, just feel that doorway closing for now. And as we do, we arrive in the moment, the the now moment, which is the only moment that has ever existed, the now. And so breathe. Follow that breath all the way in and all the way out. I am not my body. I am not even my mind. I'm that which has a body and that which has a mind. I'm a part of something more than this. Breathe. And take the 18-inch journey from the mind or the brain down into your heart. And open up your heart like a rose blossom. See it opening up into the awareness that there is an infinite presence which is presencing itself through you, as you, right where you are, right where I am. There is a power and infinite presence, infinite intelligence that is breathing itself, that is living itself into being as you, as me. So breathing. Begin to make your way back. I don't think I'll ever get used to that. The sound of all those birds all at once. It's so amazing. And the thing is I don't want to get used to it. And the reason why I don't want to get used to it is because then it falls, it escapes my attention. And really, the attention that I want to have is on the sound of life in the now moment. And in many ways, that is the big engagement. And so, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Benjamin. I'm one of the practitioners here at the Satya Center for Spiritual Living out of Ogden, Utah. And Allie and I just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for continuing to recognize us as a center for where you do receive some of your spiritual good. And we see that showing up as your affirmation through our the love offering that you make at Venmo for the Satya Center in Ogden, Utah. And so your continued financial offerings, big or small, in any denomination, do make a difference and continue to allow our center and our message to continue to come to you week in and week out. So thank you for doing that. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the big engagement. And as I was really thinking about that, one of the things I did, I always look up what is the definition that we agree, or that society in the English language, at any rate, uses for the term engagement. And it says a formal agreement to get married. It also says an arrangement to do something or go somewhere at a fixed time. It also says the action of engaging or being engaged. And it also says a fight or battle between armed forces. And so sort of going with that for a minute, I like the armed forces. One, at a spiritual level, not necessarily the way you might think out here in the linear world with actually, the U.S. military going against somebody else or something. But the engagement between armed forces brings me to the awareness that knowing that I am something, I am not my body, I'm not even my mind, that I am that which has a body and that which has a mind, that I am a presence of the light. I am a light being having a human incarnation, and that right where I am, right where you are, right where we are, the big engagement is to pull our focus of attention back out of the world of effect on what's going on in this person's life or that person's life, or out here in the world of the physicality, the world of effect, to pull our focus of attention out of the world of effect, but to turn within to that innermost infinite presence which is always on and never off. And when we actually, and I like to actually posture in, I always say I lean in for a prayerful moment where I open up my heart and turn my mind and my awareness to that infinite divine I am presence. The I am presence. See, that presence of life, that infinite presence of life, which is giving to itself multiplicity, is actually the power and presence which is experiencing itself as the Joshua tree, as the quail, as me, as you, as Allie and Rhonda and Ben, and all beings, four-legged and two-legged and winged and creepy crawlers and the pollen, one presence, many avenues, countless avenues, stars, galaxies, solar systems, the sun, the moon. And so the big engagement is for us, for you, and for me to actually realize by seeing with real eyes that we are directly connected to the infinite power, the infinite presence that is eternal, infinite, and everlasting. That it is the all-providing activity of the divine infinite mind is the mind that knows how. It knows how to be the X-ray equipment that we benefited from this last week 2 weeks ago when we were in a hospital, and we said, hey, we need to take an X-ray vision of what's going on in my wife's back so that we can actually see it, because we actually want to know what's going on there. And it knows how to be X-ray vision in the form of CT scans and X-ray equipment and MRIs and all sorts of imaging that we got an exact, precise look at what it is that she was feeling into. So we know how to heal it at this point. The big engagement is to realize that through the awareness of who we really are as spiritual beings having a human incarnation and evolution, that the big engagement is really to turn to the light. See, the master teacher, Jesus, said, I am the light, the truth, and the way, follow me. And we actually are the ones that determine when we engage in the big engagement, where we actually turn to the light of awareness of who we really are as light beings, having a spiritual and human experience, evolution here in this earth plane. When we have that awareness, we now begin to realize that it is from wholeness that we live and move and have our being. Therefore, I am wholeness made manifest. You are. We are all wholeness made manifest. And so as we begin to realize that it's from the wholeness in which we come, it's from the wholeness that we really are, we are wholeness. Okay, so follow me for a minute into the reality that we are sovereign beings of divine wholeness, having a human experience, that we came into this physical experience with absolute wholeness and everything that was required for us to have this perfect unfoldment of this human journey, whether we're here for 60 years or whether we're here for 80 years or 100 years, or whether we leave sooner than that, like many do. It's never easy when our loved ones leave, but having said that, we know in our heart of hearts, we know in our divine awareness that there's an unfoldment occurring, and it's absolutely divine. Therefore, it is whole. It is perfect. May not be what we prefer, but we can see that there's nothing wrong in this universe. And so often today we have an opportunity to hear people expressing concern about their financial well-being, if businesses are forced to shut down at time of pandemic or curb their operations down to 10 or 20%. And the natural or the unnatural effect of that is to be concerned about our source and our supply. And the unnatural effect of that, the reason why it's unnatural is because there's that human aspect of us that wants to get involved, that ego aspect of that ego mind, which is edging God out, that we then begin to think, oh my gosh, I may not be able to make it. I may not be able to make it. No, stop right there at that moment. And just know that it's up to me. Sorry, my nose is running just a little bit. It's just chilly out here. It's that perfect balance between chill and the sun warming. And so I can feel much warmer than it really is. But anyhow, I noticed that my nose is running a little bit. So what we get to do is we get to stop at that moment when our fleeting thoughts are taking us outside of our body, and we begin to suffer that lack belief system, or that belief in some degree of lack, where we start to go down paths like, oh my gosh, I may not have the money to pay the house payment, or I might be worried, or you should begin to worry about your source. And I'm telling you that that's the time for the big engagement, that you use your armament, use your armory, if you will, to lean in to the divine presence that you know is never in absence, and it's always on and never off, and it's infinite and it's eternal, and it's becoming through you right now. See, we've begun to study years ago, for many of you, or for a lifetime ago, thank you, or for a lifetime ago, that you might have begun to have your spiritual awareness that God, the divine presence, is your source and your supply. Listen to that. God is my source and my supply. The I am presence, which it really is saying to itself, I am that. I am that. I am that. I am that. So it's giving to itself the experience of multiplicity. Every being, without exception, is directly sourced, fueled, and substance by an infinite and renewable resource that knows how to multiply and become that. And so, that being our source and our supply, we open up in the biggest engagement that we can possibly do, which is to open up our heart and trust and believe that which is sourcing the solar system, for an example, that which is sourcing the fertilizer that's actually becoming the fertilization for the root system, that's actually commingling with the water, which is fueling the tree, is doing that right here, right now for me. And so the big engagement is for us to pull our focus of attention back from the world of, potentially the world of lack thought process, lack belief systems. And as we do that, when we pull our focus of attention back and we engage with the divine presence, that is big. And it's not only big, it's the biggest thing that we can do. You know, at this time of deep diving and joy riding into this world of existence, as Allie and I have been touring the country, and you know, our life has shifted significantly from what it was a year or two or three ago. And yet at the same time, some of us can wonder if there's something wrong with that. Should it be different than it is? Should we be, you know, what the Sunday services, where did they go? And, you know, and so forth. And so as we sit with that, we're sort of in the linear mind outside of the body, and then we can begin to start to think that there's something wrong. And when we begin to feel that, we stop. And the reason why it's important to stop is to turn and surrender to the one power, knowing that it's always unfolding and becoming more and never less. And there's new avenues that are opening up for us. There's new avenues that are opening up for our loved ones. There's new avenues that are opening up, and ring, ring, the telephone calls and an invitation comes. Or ring, ring, an opportunity comes up that has something to do with income producing activities. And we begin to pull our attention out of what was and begin to tune into that reality of what is now. And we have this faith beyond doubt in the commingling and communing with the divine presence, the all providing activity of the divine mind, and up comes a fruitful idea. That the minute we begin to start to relate with or engage with our creative infinite power and presence of that divine mind, out comes interesting ideas that begin to fuel us and take us down the path that we really want to go. So the biggest engagement we make is by stopping, surrendering to the one power of the divine infinite presence, and then beginning to live in harmony with that. And so some of the findings that I've had on this journey over the past several months, as Allie and I have been doing our deep work and our journaling and writing material and creating, our manuscript for the Growing Edge Live journey, is that I think we as humans have overcomplicated our existence here on earth. And as we have that sort of coming into our awareness through the well-intended individuals that help domesticate us as young people, we begin to believe things that are taking us down paths that may or may not really be true and may or may not really be serving me. So we begin to learn to worry about what other people are thinking, or we begin to think that we are cool because, or cooler than the next people because of the car that our parents drive, or we're cooler than the next people because of the house that we live in. It might be bigger or fancier, or this life here on the earth plane from the Western society that I've lived in over the last 40 or 50 years has become extremely commercial, where we begin to find that our good factor is in being sexier than we perceive that we are in this body of physicality. So we start to do things that are reaching for external good, maybe surgeries, maybe Botox, maybe these types of things begin to have us thinking that, yeah, only if I could lose that 20 or pounds, I would be sexier than I am now. No. What we've begun to realize through this time of pandemic is in having less activity, less physical activity, the opening our awareness to the divine I am presence in this here and now is the path to realizing the abundant nature of life at this moment right now. And we can begin to let all of those external things begin to fall away. And as we do, we open up our doorway. We open up the inner doorway, the inner eye, the inner ear, the inner heart, however you want to do that, where we tune into the innermost on high. And in so doing, we begin to realize that I am whole right now. That there is truth in that old KISS philosophy, the KISS meaning the keep it simple, silly. Keep it simple. What is simple about life? The simplest way I can explain that to you is that right where you are, life is. You don't have to earn your way in to that. You've already have that. Your divine birthright is that your connection to life is through realizing that you are connected to life right now. Right now. Breathing into that, we open up our heart. We open up into the expanded awareness that I am life. I am life. I am free to live this human experience because I am life in human form, having a human evolution. I do not have to earn my way in to that reality. The same power that is beating my heart, the same power that is converting air into oxygen for my cells, which are growing in multiplication, that's doing all of that without being told. That same power and presence is right now. Listen. Right now. It's beating my heart. Right now. It's giving me ideas. You see, we know, and keeping it simple, going back to some of the simplest teachings that have been shared with me over the years, that there's a triune aspect to this existence, that there's the energy aspect, which is infinite and eternal, and it's who we really are as energetic beings, that it's actually thickening into form and giving to itself the physical experience. So there's the second way, the physical. So there's the energy, which is sourcing as the physical. And then there's the mental aspect of things, where through that infinite presence known as the mind, we each are communicating with it. And then the master teacher Jesus talked about the creative process. The laws, the spiritual laws of creation are that as you sow, so shall you reap. We all have the free will to choose our thinking, right? And so we like to say, stand guard at the doorway of your mind and protect those thoughts that you're having, or at least pay attention to them. That's conscious awareness, that we pay attention to the thoughts that we're having, and then know that our thoughts spark emotion, which ignite vibrationally the energetic presence into the creative process. We can't stop it, and it's not optional. So the big engagement is that we realize that we are creating even now. That we are creating even now. And so thoughts become things, right? This is how Tesla's batteries and storage bank systems have become into being. Thoughts become things. This is how the combustible engine came into being. Thoughts through human footsteps, more thinking, more human footsteps become things. There isn't anything in creation that was man created, if you will, that wasn't first thought about. In the creative process of life, it became. We can move through our awareness. We can move beyond all doubt that the creative process is ceaseless, that there's really no beginning to it, and that there's no ending to it. And you can know right now that your human journey is temporary, that your journey is one of how long? Do you know how long? No, you don't. You don't know if you're going to be 105 or if you're going to be 95 or 88. And even in hospice, when we're with somebody that is in their final days, weeks, or hours, we do not know where the end is until that moment that occurs, that magical moment, if you will, when they fade off, transition into the light. But as beings of physical beings, we do know that this human experience is a human incarnation. It's a human experience, and we know not where this journey will end. So knowing that, let's allow ourselves the opportunity to have the biggest engagement of our life be that we allow others, to each their own, right? We allow others to have their human experience. Namaste. I divine namaste from me to you. I recognize that you have a birthright to be human, that you have a birthright to be on this planet Earth, regardless of your religion, your color, your creed, your geographic origin, regardless of anything else. That's the human aspect of me, recognizes the human aspect of you, and I honor your right to be. Beyond that, I'm the reason why I came. I'm the reason why I'm here, to have this human experience, to be on the joy ride of the human experience. I think about the times that I was powder skiing and I'm at the top of, some awesome, amazing mountain there in northern Utah at either Snow Basin or Powder Mountain or wherever I happen to be, standing looking straight down, maybe a 10-foot drop into the powder, and then some chute where I get to just be me floating in deep snow. And I remember hearing that I am that I am. That I am presence was the way that it got to experience that through me. Like I was the way that it was skiing deep powder right there at that moment, floating. And my friends used to call me the ski dancer because I used to dance around and twirl around and do circles and ski backwards and things. And that was my way of allowing the divine to experience life more fully through me as a powder skier. And I just had so much fun with that while I was doing it. And it also gave me courage, because sometimes there's fear. And fear, we know, is false evidence appearing real, but there's still times where we find ourselves in fear enough as to whether or not we can take that leap, that step of faith into make that telephone call, or to have the willingness to have that difficult conversation. Again, the big engagement. The big engagement is that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And when I need to speak word about my truth to somebody, to another, then the biggest engagement is having faith that who you really are and who they really are, and it's going to be okay, and I need to say what I need to say. One of my teachers used to say, speak fast, speak strong, shovel while the piles are small. And the reason why he would say that is he was another decade or two older than I am, and he had another 20 or 30 years experience. And he's learned in his life that when he knew that he needed to speak word to something, if he didn't, then he would hold on to that and it would stew and it would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually he would snap and then come unglued at the most inopportune time, usually venting it out on the check stand, the checker at the grocery store because the price wasn't right or something. And he would just come uncorked out there on somebody, lose his blank, 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 as we know. And then, but the thing is what he learned is, I need to speak fast, speak strong, and shovel while piles are small. I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that. I don't have time to help you. Because people pleasing isn't necessarily why we came. We came to have this human incarnation, to have this human experience. We need to check in often. The biggest engagement of our life is to check in with our divine higher self, if you will, the all-providing activity, to sit with the presence and really feel into what is surfacing through me and as me now. Give yourself permission to have faith, trust, and belief beyond doubt in the all-providing activity of the divine life as your source and your supply. So, doing just a little bit of a time check, I think we should probably wrap up because I know I can be lengthy and time escapes. And so as we move into this the rest of the holiday season over the next couple weeks, Allie's preparing a nice service for next week is the 20th, which is will be our solstice our winter solstice, which is that time of the darkest, it's not it's not about equal. It's about the darkest, the longest day, the longest night, and where the days start to become longer and longer moving forward. So I know that next week Allie will be here, and we're just so pleased. And so I'd like for you to join me, engage with me in the biggest engagement that we can do right now, which is to move into a prayerful posture where we begin to recognize that we are a part of the one unifying thread of all life, that we realize that there is only one presence. The force and source of all life itself is the force and source of life. That in the beginning, there was a power and presence, and that this power moved forward and became everything, giving to itself the multiplicity. And so I am, you are, we are a part of the one unifying thread of existence itself, living and moving and having our beingness in this divine infinite presence, this divine infinite force. Breathe. And let's move into the awareness that this divine presence, this I am presence, is absolute. That it is whole and that it contains within itself everything that it needs to be lava, to be magma, which is creating molten rock right now. That it has the ability to be gravity. That it could be the chirp of those birds. That it can be the heartbeat. That it's the multiplication of life in action. That it knows how to do it. Wholeness. Right where we are. Divine presence, presencing itself right where we are. Giving to itself multiplicity, physicality, spiritual, mental. That it's coming together through and as the creative medium. And so we breathe and say in your heart of hearts, right where I am, wholeness is. Right where I am, the everlasting life is. Right where I am, eternal life is breathing me. I came here to have a joyride as a human. I came here to live as a human. I came here to move across the land and experience humanness. I'm spiritual being first. Human evolution is the effect. Biggest engagement of our life is to shine the light of awareness on the truth of our being and realize that it is our source and our supply. And there's so many biggest, but the biggest engagement actually that we can make is an attitude of gratitude, which is the acknowledging of receiving from the divine life. Thank you. Thank you, divine life, for living me. Thank you for being the beautiful food that we picked up from the beautiful farmers at the farmers market yesterday. Everything that we picked up was lovingly brought into through the mind, through the creative process, and it is for us. It is the energy of life. The gratitude is the receiving of the prana, of the energy of life that is actually right where we are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up as that, as that, as that, as you. Thank you. Thank you for being human. Thank you for being a part of our trajectory, being on this plane of commingling with other humans as we attract with each other. We are actually in each other's aura. We are actually in each other's energy field for a reason, maybe an answer to a prayer. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for participating in this creative process on earth with us. Thank you. And now we surrender. The biggest act of engagement that we can make is to surrender beyond all doubt, knowing that the divine presence has you, that the divine presence has this human earthly experience. It knows how to do it. We don't have to tell it how to be mountains or how to be electricity coming through or how to be the heartbeat of life or how to something that we're experiencing right now is a lot of photos. My daughter ordered a puppy some months ago, and we've seen this whole process unfold. And now we're getting photos of FaceTime shots of the new puppy that's coming into our family, Luna Lou, and she was born a few weeks ago, and now we're seeing her grow. But all of that has happened, and nobody really had to tell it how to happen. It was pretty natural. It's happening. And Luna opened up her eyes, and now we can see her in there as the photos are coming, and we can see her eyes have opened up, and we see, yeah, thank you. Beyond all doubt, we just let it go. We surrender. We let it go. Back into the action of the law of the creative process of life, for that's what it does. We let it go and we allow it to be, and so it is. Namaste. Namaste, everybody. Peace and blessings to you. Again, if you joined us afterwards, we always like to say thank you for continuing to support the Satya Center, our nonprofit, through Venmo. You can find the Satya Center in Ogden, Utah. That's the best way and easiest way. All contributions, big or small, add to the whole of it and is keeping our center going during this time of pandemic. So thank you very much for continuing to do that. We bless you. We honor you. We have practitioners that are available. Allie, myself, Dr. Pam are available 24 hours a day. So if you and our board of directors are participating in consciousness with Ben and Leslie. So if you have a desire for a prayer partner, know that we're here with you all the time. You can text us. If you have our numbers, you can send us an instant message here on Facebook. You can go to the website, submit a prayer request, and we're with you 24 hours a day. Peace and many blessings. Have a wonderful day. And don't forget to engage, because the biggest engagement that you can make is up to you to turn and shine the light of awareness that right where you are, the divine presence is always presencing as you. Namaste. We love you, Myrna. Have a blessed day. It's time to go. I'm out of time. And we'll see y'all next week.